to us, but it's actually a lie that's turning out to be a good thing. We did a lot of testing with our first impressions of Leia on defense. If you want to see her offensive capability card in the top right-hand corner, but how do we beat her on defense? We know she's great on offense. How do we handle her on defense? We did a lot of Galactic Legend testing and some off-meta testing, and I think Capital Games, they kind of sold her a little short. Originally, when they were kind of building up to her, they're saying she's kind of the inverse of Jabba, where Jabba's more defensive. Leia's more of the offensive character, meant to beat a lot of stuff, and they even sold her on the offensive side of things. They said she should beat most Galactic Legends. I'm able to beat all the Galactic Legends if you watch the previous video. But on defense, she's not all that bad. They kind of made it sound like she was going to be maybe like worse than Sith Eternal. Far from the truth. And I want to caveat this. One, it's only first day testing, of course, and we're limited to so many squad arena battles. Two, team composition could be different. And three, the gameplay that I'm going to show you today, it doesn't even have the Omicron. Drogon's going to have an Omicron, and this is only going to get better. And on top of that, my testing partner Seb, he didn't even have great mods on Ezra and Baze, and they were still kicking massive butt. I mean, look at these Ezra mods. I didn't even realize it because he was still hitting for like 100,000 damage. So the point is, we have a lot on the table to make this even better, and they're already looking darn good. On that note, speaking of all this, I want to showcase this. Team composition might play a big part. We're still kind of wondering what that next big team composition is. And in my current territory wars, big shout to Order 66 Bent Bosk. They showed firstly that Trench is absolutely god tier. Look, I got 69 holds. But in that territory war, I was kind of experimenting with another lineup. Mon Mothma could be a super annoying character. She equalizes health, she cleanses on her base, she summons a 6 rebel, and she could revive rebel fighters. And guess what? Baze as well as Drogon are rebel fighters, so keep that in mind. So it could change. In regards to what was beating Leia from the Galactic Legend standpoint, this is kind of what it seems like. So Master Luke, Jabba seemed to be best, Rey, Kenobi seemed to be good, Sith Eternal seemed to cover okay, and for some reason Lord Vader was the hardest count. I couldn't beat him, but otherwise I had all the Galactic Legends beat Leia to one extent or the other. So we're going to kind of break down all those battles because we have a Grand Arena coming up with Leia, and you might see her in the wild. It's cool. We know she's great on offense. How are you going to handle her on defense? That's what we're going to try to open up that conversation with. So by far the easiest counter in my personal experience against Leia, kind of like what I expected when I was using Leia on offense. Jabba was kind of one of the harder Galactic Legends to beat. Once Bausch Leia goes, it's game over. Once my Bausch Leia went, because of the thermal detonators, I was able to absolutely obliterate the team, able to get my fast ultimate, able to insta-kill a Jabba. By far the easiest counter, maybe not the cleanest banners, but you know, you might lose some protection, but it was definitely the easiest out of all of them in terms of difficulty, time. A lot of these other Galactic Legends we brought it would take like the full 5 minutes to beat Galactic Legend League. And to clarify, we're not even using Omicrons, and on top of that, Datacron. So Jabba, good to know. The last Galactic Legend, you know, it's still gonna be useful. Master Luke, again, kind of like how I predicted in the offensive testing of Leia, fighting Master Luke was actually very challenging. Now, I have gotten Leia to beat Master Luke, even though it's very messy. Definitely possible. But on offense, kind of the same drill. Maybe not as fast as Jabba, and there is a slight risk factor. If Leia does pop her ultimate and she kills off one of the characters, as we're gonna see in a Master Kenobi battle, she could revive the whole team. So this takes a little bit more time, but basically I kind of just treated this like almost like a raid battle where you just kind of want to gun her down. Just go straight for Leia, because also you got to make sure you're keeping control of Fearless. Every turn she gets Fearless, and if you're not hitting her, she gets 4% ultimate charge. So really that's the only way to kind of keep track of her ult ability, get her down as fast as possible. I believe in this battle I did get Drogon out because he was once the ability block and stuns come up, it's kind of an issue. The ability block stuns are kind of the big thing that really help out Master Luke handle Leia. Overarching theory for countering Leia so far, it seems to be ability block, stuns, anti-stealth, and anti-revives. And here's the reason why you want anti-revives. I was bringing in Kenobi, I felt cocky, Leia hit ultimate, killed off someone, brought the whole entire team back with 100% health, 100% protection. So anti-revives are going to be critical. So I had a rough time with that battle, but overall, for the most part, I felt like even though Leia does hard counter Kenobi when she's on the offensive side of things, I was able to still beat Leia with Master Kenobi, but it does take a long time, especially since Commander Tano, I was lucky at the very end, I got her insta-kill, which was not very helpful in the last 5 seconds of the battle. She can't get her cooldowns reduced. Kind of hard, but because Leia's kind of idiotic on defense, it does leave you that window of opportunity to kind of take advantage of her. With this team with Kenobi, I think Mace Windu is going to be very helpful. Anti-stealth, as I said, is going to be very important because at the beginning, Leia hides Drogon. She always targets Drogon. Like Hux is always targeting Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Master Luke, Master Kenobi always targets Commander Tano at the beginning of battle. She always targets Drogon, and this anti-stealth is incredibly important, and the shatter point as well. So Mace Windu could be a very helpful tool handling the Leia team, and he also brings that ability block aspect, which is also, if you're going to ability block Leia, you stop the call to action from workers. If she can't give call to action, they actually have to focus on the tank. So putting it out there, I think this is going to be a good opportunity for Master Kenobi to still be relevant. Rey, I would kind of put in a similar vein to Kenobi. Maybe you might lose one person potentially, but I think if you have the Omicron on Ben and you time out the ultimate, you're gonna be fine. I was actually kind of surprised how well Rey did. Basically, you get out there and you really want to use the sudden whirlwind. It feels almost like a Master Kenobi counter when you use Rey, where the ultimate really doesn't do much on the opposing team, but the sudden whirlwinds are the most important thing. If you can throw a sudden whirlwind, insta-kill Drogon, you're fine. He isn't going to revive in the situation Leia does her ultimate, and she accidentally kills someone else. But what you're going to want to do, kind of like a Rey mirror match, you want to time your ultimate perfectly. So when it looks like Galactic Legend Leia is about to use her ultimate, you don't want to lose all that progress made in case you killed someone without sudden whirlwind. You want to time out your ultimate, let Leia do her thing, and then no one's going to get killed off. You're going to be fine. So overall, pretty well. But look, even with 3 characters on the field, Rey couldn't kill any of them. They're so beefy. The team is mega beefy. So it's good to see that even Rey is going to have some potential. They handle in Galactic Legend Leia. But again, kind of a long battle. Really came down to the final 30 seconds. So you got to really up the ante, pick up the pace, and luckily the final ultimate was able to dump her out. Next up here, we're going to kind of move into the counters that did beat her. But boy, was it messy. Good news, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren seems to be a consistent enough counter again before Omicron, Datacrons, yada, yada, yada. Great big explosive plays. Baze, I think, is going to be a good character for Leia overall. That fit spot could be debatable. Gets around the pre-taunt, gets you straight to Drogon. Keep in mind, Hux cannot reset cooldowns on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, so just mass swarm Drogon. When Supreme Leader Kylo Ren kills off Drogon, he can't get revived anymore. So Supreme Leader Kylo Ren seems like he's going to be good enough, but it's very messy, kind of reminiscent of Supreme Leader Kylo Ren versus Rey battle. Yeah, you could win, but yeah, at what cost? You're going to lose everyone. So good news is a lot of people Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. It's kind of people's one of those clutch Galactic Legends that just kind of stay relevant as new Galactic Legends come out. They could still beat them, but you just got to keep in mind it's going to be a little mess. So good to know you still have an opportunity in that regard as Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Next up, though, Sith Eternal. This was a tricky one. Yeah, very tricky. What you're going to want to do with this guy is you got to change your modding up, it feels like. You got to make him fast and late, which is kind of counteractive to what we normally mod. Normally you just mod Sith Eternal to be super beefy, lots of health on the guy, but he's too slow. And then Leia hides Drogon under stealth, and you're kind of screwed. And then Drogon just absolutely wrecks your team. If you could start off before Leia goes, you can link up Drogon, stop him from critically hitting, and of course you can insta-kill him, and he can't be revived. Very close battle, very messy, and again, we don't even have Omicron, Datacron, suboptimal mods on some of the characters that were lingering around out there, so I'm not sure how confident I am, but I will say I'm a bit surprised. I was expecting Sith Eternal to be a better counter up against Galactic Legend Leia, but it was definitely a little iffy. Have your Sith, again, we're not going to see a lot of Leias for the foreseeable future, but eventually it will be more prevalent. If you have Sith Eternal, it's possible. But I really needed the armor, and I really needed Wat Tambor to help me make it. The one Galactic Legend where it had absolutely no success, and it blew me away, Lord Vader! Lord Vader! Look at this. So many times where Leia hits her ultimate, absolutely nukifies my team, and brings out a revive. I don't want to completely rule out that Lord Vader's, going to be able to counter, maybe. I don't want to completely rule out. I only did like 3-4 battles. But I wasn't successful. The best run I had is I got timed out against Leia, which is a little embarrassing. Here's the problem, I think. It sucks, but when Maul, normally when you use Maul's, he does this jazz hands. You want to kill off someone, not the Galactic Legend, right? You want to turn one, destroy someone. The problem is, if you're targeting Drogon, which seems enticing, right? Leia is constantly getting 4% ultimate charge. And how many turns does Maul get? He gets a ton of turns, back to back to back. And if you're not targeting Leia, the Fearless at the end of her turn is giving her 4% ultimate charge, which is a massive boost of ultimate that she gets. And then she's able to get to her ultimate ability really fast. instant or use her big fracture ability, kill off someone, just revive the person. So you got to keep in mind a few things here that are kind of risky for Lord Vader. That number one of Maul, it feels like you got to waste Maul on Leia. I don't know. I'm not even sure that's a great play. The other problem that you're having here is that damage over time, all the debuffs are important, but if Leia does basic on Thrawn, she cleanses all the debuffs on the team because he's a support character. And the third thing that I think will work in Lord Vader, if there's a trick to this, don't kill anyone off until he goes ultimate, because when he's in ultimate, no one can revive. So what I want to do is kind of talk more of the off-meta, non-galactic legend stuff. Where Leia might struggle on defense, even though she seems very competitive up against these galactic legends, I think she might have a window of opportunity where she might be prone to like maybe a 2-shot. At the very end, you're going to see a Padme thing. The courage can kind of almost insta-kill opposing characters on the Leia crew. That might be helpful for 2-shotting a Leia. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, I ran out of attempts, but it does seem like something that could be possible. Maybe do the Gidme, where it's Gideon and Padme. You do the whole Terminator removal, give a ton of protection on the Padme team. Maybe you can like blow out a few people, and then maybe clean up Leia afterward. Overall, though, in terms of like one-shotting with an off-meta thing, again, initial testing, only get a few battles, and unfortunately lock you out. They won't let you play their game. So we didn't really have enough time to really try everything else. But it's seeming like Imperial Troopers don't work. I thought General Anakin Skywalker might have a decent chance because Leia's kind of an idiot. She just kind of goes around his taunt when she has call to action the team. Kind of had a hard time with that one. Reva had a bit of a struggle as well. So far, I'm not seeing a very obvious, clear, one-shot, non-galactic legend thing. But of course, maybe we got to get into Grand Arena, get Omicrons turned on a Star Killer, maybe Dr. Aphra, but Dr. Aphra can't manipulate cooldowns. So that's kind of an issue. So the point I'm getting at is, with this initial defensive testing, I think they undersold her, like big time. I was really, the way they were building her up, I thought, oh, she's going to suck on defense. Far from it. She's very competitive. She can take, drain the clock from you. Like you might be coming down to the last 5-10 seconds. You might get timed out. So you really got to work fast. If you're not using Jabba, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, she, it doesn't look like there's a lot of obvious off-meta things at the moment for her. So overall, quite impressed. And again, we don't even know if that's the ideal team. We didn't have ideal mods on Ezra or Baze, and they were still kicking some serious butt. So keep your eyes open with this Grand Arena coming this week, which we're going to have Malicos and Leia in this next week of Grand Arena. It's going to be crazy. We're going to have a better idea of what Leia's looking like, get a better foundation for where she's kind of settling in the game. But overall, pretty solid. I want to end on one more thought here. On offense, if you saw my gameplay today, I said the ultimate ability didn't really feel useful because I would basically already be winning by the time I used my ultimate ability. Like I already won the battle. I'm just recovering banners at that point. The ultimate ability felt way more impactful on defense. Like it felt way deadlier because she doesn't know what she's doing on defense, so she's kind of taking her sweet time to get the ultimate. And when she gets the ultimate, the fracture actually kind of hurts because I'm trying to like finish her up and she's like holding me back. And then she gets a lot of revive potential. So although I don't find it as useful on offense, the defensive side of things, Leia's really getting some interesting uses out of the ultimate ability. So it was good to see kind of a little bit different of an experience than me using. Again, it's not a bad ultimate. I was just already kicking butt before I needed the ultimate on offense. On defense, she definitely does need, if you want to give some more complication, especially against Lord Vader. When you're with Kenobi, you're like chewing on your nails. You're hoping, please don't do ultimate. Please don't do ultimate, because then you know she's going to revive and you're back to square one. So I'm very impressed with this. I want to believe there's an off-meta thing. Like we maybe saw Jedi Knight Revan, Cal Kestis might have a possibility. You can maybe get Cal Kestis to maybe insta-kill Drogon, and then maybe the cleanup will get a little bit better at that point. I think, though, at the end of the day, what we're going to need to see of Leia, is she truly just going to be an offensive tool? She definitely is great in offense. I think from what I'm seeing, though, I'm probably going to end up throwing her on defense initially. Let people struggle, figure it out, and after a Grand Arena or two, we'll be in some sort of swing where we're going to, all right, is this an easy character to get through? Is it a difficult one to get through? What I'm wondering is, with Jabba kind of getting manhandled by the Night Sisters right now, do you think there's maybe any possibility? No, because like right now, Jabba's kind of questionable on defense. If Night Sisters linger around, maybe Jabba comes in offense, and that's going to be your best counter for Leia? It's kind of weird because they said Jabba he's like one of the best defensive units, and Leia's the best. And she's not that great. She's the opposite of Jabba. It's kind of like it's a little inverse right now. But give it more time. And here's the Padme battle. I want to make sure you guys know about to keep on your radar with more testing. This might be a thing. I don't think it can one shot because the courage doesn't do anything to Leia. But when you build enough courage on the team, which I think, again, if you do the Gideon Padme trick, you'll get a lot of protection up, and then you'll get a lot of courage. Maybe do like Shock T or something like that. You could just, boom, nuke someone out right away with the 25 plus stacks of courage that you might end up getting. So possible, maybe 2-shot. The problem is Drogon being on the field is still a lot of issues. So maybe you want to nuke out Drogon, then come in at the cleanup. Again, it's going to be kind of hard to tell what we're looking at here at the end of the day. But nonetheless, Leia, solid on offense, solid on defense, definitely exceeding expectations, and kind of an interesting scenario where Capital Games, I don't know if they, maybe they're just trying to undersell her because it's easier to exceed expectations than meet expectations. Like Leviathan, they overhyped it, and well, you guys know what happened with that. With Leia, they didn't really build up that much hype, and I am actually beyond impressed with how she came out to be. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Leave your comment down below. Leave a like. Always great hanging out with you. I'm excited to unlock Malicos with you tomorrow, as well as testing him out. Man, Seer Junda, Lord Vader, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Rivas. A lot of ways to utilize them. So catch you guys tomorrow. But until then, please never forget how it's great to be in the Empire today.
Oh, it's great to be